Mademoiselle and ça c'est deuxième Chanel ouais. And aujourd'hui, we are going to be talking about witchcraft. What it is, how to become one, how to lift the spell, whatever the case may be. Because I feel like this is a very, very important video because especially now on social media in modern times, becoming a witch is like such a trend. And I just wanted to set a couple of things straight and honestly just give an in-depth, unbiased look at things. Of course, feel free to correct me and add any information down below. If you're a witch, welcome. How are you? How you doing today? Because you guys are very, very courageous, especially for those of you who actually are out here practicing witchcraft publicly and tell people your stories. That is a very courageous thing to do because a lot of people very, very much so demonize it. However, I will say that upon looking into this, I just saw a whole crock of bullshit and I was genuinely annoyed by it, okay? So first things first, before we get into all that, make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, smash everybody that can help a sister out. If you like folklore, voodoo, all types of spirituality, Haitian politics, you should stick around because that's all I make on this channel. I also have a main channel where I do life advice, commentary, and reactions regarding social issues. I do live sometimes. I got some merchandise. You like my shirt? Haiti sac passé, nula. And yeah, I'm gonna be working on more merch. Make sure you guys, stay posted. So when it comes to this whole witch situation, I've been hearing that word get thrown around so much and it irks the fuck out of me, okay? Now, as you guys know, if you've been on this channel before, I talk a lot about Haitian spirituality, ancient religions and practices, politics, folklore, stuff like that. And honestly, regardless if a lot of people don't think religion belongs in politics, especially when it comes to Haiti, it actually does go hand in hand, as a lot of leaders did practice forms of voodoo or other types of magic. I'm going to be drawing a lot of similarities between Haitian voodoo and witchcraft. Understand it is not the same thing, even though a lot of people like to lump them all together. So when it comes to this, I really wanted to make this video because a lot of people always lump everything together. They think witchcraft is voodoo and it is not. They think that Wicca is voodoo, or Wicca and voodoo is the same thing, or if you're a witch, you're part of the occult. If you're a witch, that means you do black magic. And I was just like, oh child, we gotta unwind all of this and set the record straight before people just go around being ignorant, and most importantly, before people who think that they're witches do some fuck shit, conjure the wrong type of energy, demons or deities, and honestly hurt themselves. Okay, if you guys have not been here before, I actually made a video regarding a white girl that tried to summon a Haitian deity called Papa Legba and tried to send a hex on her ex who was black and died. This is very serious stuff. This is not to be played with. It is not cool or cute to say you're a witch just because you've seen it on TikTok, you've seen it on the internet, and now you think, oh my god, I'm a witch, I have a calling. And it's like, yeah, maybe you watch too much Sabrina the Teenage Witch and that's your calling. I have no idea. Maybe you watch too much TikTok, or what they call it, witch talk. But all I'm gonna say is, if you're sitting here just calling yourself a witch just for the fuck of it, just because it's a trend, just because you think it's cute, understand it's extremely disrespectful to those who are actually genuine witches. I actually came across a very disgusting video from a company who made a whole parody about how to become a witch, and there's also, yeah, just sage your office, talk to plants, don't listen to your boss. Like, it was just disgusting. It was from a channel called Nylon, which I believe is supposed to be a company. Shame on you if you're making a mockery of people's spiritual beliefs or religions or practices. Shame on you if you choose to be ignorant and make jokes and parodies out of things instead of truly understanding what they are. Your ancestors probably don't like that shit. I know damn well my ancestors don't like that shit. And whoever you're making fun of, their ancestors, their deities, whatever type of beings that are protecting them, don't like that shit. I guarantee you probably not living a good life right now because that's not okay. It's not funny at all.
Meet the office witch box. Burning sage is a great way to clear out any bad energy that's holding you back. Crystals are another beautiful, subtle way to beckon in positive energy. Consider using candles to ward off bad energy. Houseplants are an office witch's best friend. You can never have too many. Witchcraft is about community. That's why we spend thousands of hours combing through sacred sources to bring this special box to you.
Like, if you don't understand something, that's fine, ask questions, but it's never okay to ridicule someone, especially for personal gain of views, subscribers, notoriety, whatever the case may be. Like, that video definitely needs to come down. It's just fucking gross. Even though that video was literally making fun of witchcraft, making fun of people who call themselves witches, I ain't even gonna stunt. A lot of these YouTubers that I've come across on YouTube that are saying that they're witches were doing exactly what the fuck the video was set, okay? They were saying exactly what the nylon video was pointing out. And the whole time I'm just sitting here like, yikes. But this is what I've come across. Literally, almost every video that I came across about how to be a witch, how I became a witch, my witch routine or whatever, it was literally just people burning sage, saying some spells, which honestly could be deemed as prayer or manifestation, doing some inner work, brewing some tea. And I'm just sitting here like, listen, I'm not a witch. I am no way in any expert. I am no way, shape, or form any type of expert in this, but I know damn well y'all not just calling yourself witches because you like the wiz, you're in tune with nature, and you like to wish good things on yourself and others. Now, I do understand there's different types of witchcraft, but absolutely nothing that these people have described are witches. Now, when it comes to common misconceptions and the Hollywood version, I understand that's absolutely not true. It is not a thing. It's very over exaggerated. However, I know damn well a lot of these people that talk about I'm a witch. Ain't no goddamn witches. You're not a witch, bitch. You just like to meditate. You just like to do inner work. You just like to make some goddamn tea. You like to work with herbs. That's fine. But it's very interesting for people to be classifying themselves as a higher being that can bend energy and have control over their own destiny versus people that just like being holistic. So first things first, let's go over the textbook definition of what a witch is, even though I know it's completely inaccurate and just blasphemous in a way. So according to Google, also known as Oxford Languages, okay, a witch is a woman thought to have magic powers, especially evil ones, popularly depicted as wearing a black cloak and pointed hat and flying on a broomstick. Verb, cast an evil spell on. The fact that this is regarded as a fucking definition, honestly, America, I'm so fucking disappointed in you, or whoever the hell writes the Oxford Dictionary. I'm extremely disappointed in this. This is so fucking fucked up. There's no way they have that shit as an official definition and they think it's okay for people to be thinking that's what a witch is, okay? Now, when it comes to being a witch, it is up to your own personal interpretation. However, for the most part, a witch is someone who has power over the world's destiny, especially their own, by being able to bend energy and shift spells or do inner workings in order to change the narrative of something. It is essentially someone who is a master sorceress of all things around them. They are not evil. They do not run around on broomsticks and wear freaking pointed hats. That is what you see on Hollywood, but that is not what a real witch is. Witches are very one with nature. Very. They know what herbs do this, what plants do that, because most of their energy, their sorcery, their spells have to do with the earth, have to get certain herbs to do this certain things, certain fruits, certain vegetables, whatever the case may be. So that means they're very in tune with nature. A lot of them are very, very into the world in terms of the world's energy, the moon, the sun, the wind. They're very, very grounded. And that's probably going to be a lot of people's hard to, because now people barely want to go outside because they want to fucking watch Netflix for 10 hours, okay? You have to really start getting acclimated with being outside and being one with the earth and understanding that everything on the earth has a place. If you out here living in fucking Manhattan, I have no idea how you gonna be a witch, because ain't no damn grass except for Central Park. Even the little parks that they have in the middle of the fucking city ain't no grass. So I guess the most wind you gonna get is moonlight. You barely see the sun. Nonetheless, I'm sure there's some witches in New York, so please explain to me what y'all do. Do y'all drive all the way to Rochester, Westchester, whatever the case may be, to get some grass? Because there's like no grass in the city, okay? You're better off in Brooklyn, Queens, whatever the case may be, because it's hard to be one with earth somewhere where there's like no earth, like all of it is concrete. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the hardest thing for a lot of people. Witches walk among us. There's so many people out there that are probably witches and you would never know. Your coworker's probably a witch. Because of these common misconceptions, I'm sure everyone has heard about witches being put to trial and whatever the case may be. A lot of people have been forced to practice witchcraft behind closed doors in secret. And I really feel like that's fucked up, because if you have a belief system or, you know, a spirituality, a lifestyle, I believe everyone should be able to live that freely without being persecuted or, you know, having to feel like they have to make it a secret. But sadly, that's just, it is what it is, because people either look at witches as a joke or they look at them as just plain out evil. But in actuality, witches are not inherently evil. The type of witch you become and the type of witch you are completely depends on who you are as a person, the intentions you have for witchcraft, and so on and so forth. There's actually many witches who don't cast spells at all. There's some that are more ritual based. There's a lot of other witches that, you know, do other things. It's not about what you've seen on TV. And another misconception is that people have to be born a witch. You have to have like a witch in your heritage. It's all hereditary, and that's not true. Anyone can be a witch if they have the want, the need, the urge, and they actually follow the proper guidelines. But at the same time, not everyone's going to be a witch, because a lot of people can't fucking follow simple protocol. A lot of people are sitting here just saying they're a witch without even doing the damn work, and a lot of people will just see this as a fucking trend. They're doing it for a couple of months, a couple of years, or whatever, and they give up. Understand that all of this is completely different from what you have heard. When it comes to Wicca and being a witch, it is not the same thing. It is not synonymous at all. Wicca is a religion, but you do not have to be a Wiccan in order to be a witch. You're not going to be classified a witch just because you are a Wiccan. There are many other witches and different types of witchery and sorcery, or the case may be, and other types of cultures, ethnicities, and spiritual beliefs. You also don't have to follow a higher being in order to be a witch. You can be an atheist witch. You literally can be any race, ethnicity, gender, or whatever case may be to be a witch. This is why this definition is ridiculously fucked up and ridiculous, because it says a woman. Nigga, what? Like, no, it is gender neutral and anyone can be a witch. Male, female, gay, straight, non-binary, whatever the case may be. Witchcraft is a lifestyle. It is a practice. It is a craft. That's why it's called witchcraft. It is not necessarily a religion, so to speak, because there's different people in different religions and spiritual beliefs who are witches. You are also not automatically worshiping the devil if you are a witch. Please, can we stop this shit? Oh my god, it's fucking exhausting. Stop it. Could we just stop it? Like, everything that people do not understand that is not Christian is deemed as demonic. And I feel like if you're still doing that in 2022, you need psychological help. You need to learn how to think for yourself. You need to learn how to understand that people's beliefs are not going to be like yours. You need to understand that just because someone doesn't believe that something you do does not inherently make it evil. Just because someone's been telling you something is evil for your entire life does not necessarily make it evil. You have to seek and understand why you think something's evil, why you think something's wrong, whatever the case may be. And all of the reasons that you're exploring has to come from different sources. Don't just be like, oh, well, the church said, oh, well, my mama said, oh, well, my man said, oh, well. No. Seek different sources, find out different things, learn different things, expand your horizons. If you are afraid of something, if you think something's wrong, explore why, and I guarantee you, you're probably going to come out with a different outlook or a different perspective on something. You may not change your opinion, but your perspective may change. When it comes to black magic and good magic, there's two different types of ways any witch can go about it. I'm going to be making another video on what black magic truly is. In this video, we're mainly going to be exploring what is a witch and, you know, all of that jazz. Now, when it comes to Haitian voodoo and other types of religions that fall under the voodoo type of umbrella, a lot of people, if anything, most people practice that in secret. A lot of people, if they are voodoo practitioners, you will absolutely never know, because a lot of people are very, very rude when it comes to that, and they also think that's evil as well, just like witchcraft. But what I find interesting with the witchcraft situation is the fact that when it comes to Wicca in particular, the person who founded Wicca, Gerald Gardner, was very, very adamant about everyone doing Wicca. He wanted it on a very, very wide platform. He took this to the heights, okay? He actually became the most famous witch of England. And in England in particular, you're really probably gonna be walking among witches, because like, it's a very, very popular religion over there, and a lot of people do practice witchcraft. So it's very interesting, because looking into history of Gerald Gardner, I will say that I feel like there are some people that kind of were very skeptical. Now, do not take this as disrespect. However, when I was looking into the history of Wicca, and honestly, I feel like I kind of drew this conclusion as well. They kind of saw Gardner as like a person that probably needed psychological help, or someone that genuinely was just pulling things out of his ass. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like people should just not talk shit about things they don't understand. But the reason a lot of people thought this was because Gerald Gardner was actually a nudist. And you know how people are, again, like I said, if they don't understand something, they just call it everything out of the woodworks. But to make things more interesting, he would actually invite people to his backyard to do nudist things. And it was interesting. I was like, I don't know why they had to bring this up, but apparently Gardner had this whole story where he said he had been kidnapped by a bunch of witches. They were whispering Wicca to him, and he was initiated to be a witch, and because of this, he ended up starting Wicca. That is the short form version of the story. It's crazy because ever since then, you know, developed his coven. He was able to write books that really didn't go well, but then, you know, he kept going at it. He released more books, he did so many interviews, and he was open with the whole Wicca thing. He was like, you know what, I'm a witch, I have this religion called Wicca, I believe everyone should do it, they should realize their full potential, they should realize their real energy capacity, whatever the case may be. And everybody was looking at him like it was fucking crazy, especially in Britain when it was out here fucking killing witches and shit. Back in Europe, you got me fucked up. Now, what's really crazy about this whole situation is a lot of people were really thinking he was crazy, but then it's as if he kind of like predicted the perfect storm for all of this, because by the time the 70s were approaching, the end of the 60s into the 70s, this is when Wicca really blew up, because you know, we had the peace movement, gender inclusivity, blah blah blah, all of that going on, and a lot of people were a lot more comfortable with coming out about what they do behind closed doors. So this really made the idea explode. This is when it really came to the US. A lot of people in the US started practicing. So it's just some very interesting shit compared to voodoo or other religions where people are like, no, we don't want none of this shit. Like, they even have a book of shadows, which is the original doctrine of how to perform Wicca, all the mistakes, all the good things, all this, that, and the third, and it's literally like locked away. But the thing is, it's like written down. You're not gonna find a voodoo book of spells and shit. Like, that's not a thing. And I don't know what it is. I feel like when it comes to Haitian people or other people of other races and ethnicities, a lot of people call it gatekeeping, but honestly, the way that Haiti has been demonized just because of voodoo, I can't blame them. As soon as someone hears, oh, they do voodoo, they're terrified. They think someone's gonna put a hex on them. They think that they're gonna get killed. They think they're in a house full of evil. And it's like, that's just such an ignorant outlook to have, because these people are genuinely good people. They just have a practice that you do not understand. There's black magic, there's good magic, and then at the end of the day, there's voodoo, there's Wicca, there's other types of spiritualities and religions that are just that, spiritualities and religions. Voodoo, Wicca in itself is just the religion part. Black magic and white magic are two completely different things, separate from that, in which people take those ideas and those spells and those energies, mix them together in order to get the outcomes that they want. With white magic, you may manifest, which is technically a spell, but stronger than a spell, because you're using your energy in order to make it happen, along with other witches, to, you know, bring a positive outcome, to reach a goal that you're trying to reach to. Or if you're using black magic, you may use, you know, a deity, or you may just use your coven in order to make sure that someone pays for something that they did for you. Is that okay? Absolutely not. And all of these practices almost always comes back onto you, especially if you're in a situation where you kind of did the spell by yourself and the person finds out you did that spell and then they go to someone to reverse it. That shit is gonna go right back to you tenfold, and you do not want that. And it's the same principle in voodoo, except most of the time you probably lose your life or inherit some sort of generational curse. It's literally the same type of principles and properties regarding that. Now, when it comes to how to be a witch, I feel like, in my personal opinion, now this is not fact whatsoever, I feel like you should not be self-initiating. I feel like it's very hard to find real information out there on what you should do, and it's really dangerous to be out here just, oh, I'm a witch, I'm doing this, I'm gonna mix some herbs and say some words and say a spell and hope it comes true. Next thing you know, you got one leg the next morning. Like, I'm not joking, I'm not over exaggerating, but it's some real shit. You know, I feel like self-initiation is just not safe, only because there's just so much misinformation out there on their internet. And on top of that, I'm one of those people that feels like you should, if you want to be a witch, if you want to be a sorceress, if you want to practice Haitian voodoo or any other type of voodoo, I feel like you should be going to the right person of a higher power in order to help you, who knows all of the knowledge. And sadly, there's just way too many people out there that just want to steal your money. They're having fucking master classes, they're selling fake crystals, fake herbs, a whole bunch of very expensive equipment in order for you to conduct your witchcraft. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because like Wicca has become so mainstream, or witchcraft in general has become so mainstream that now you have just a bunch of con artists coming out there. So when it comes to modern day, like 2022, I just feel like realistically, you could be sitting here calling yourself a witch, but you really probably don't know anything, because there's just so much misinformation out there. And to make matters worse, a lot of times, a lot of these practices are not necessarily what you think it is. There's a lot of people that, oh, okay, I'm a witch, you know, and I'm a Wiccan, but they're really trying to call on to voodoo, African, Buddhist type of deities that have absolutely nothing to do with Wicca. Now, yes, you can mix practices and stuff like that, but you shouldn't. And I feel like this whole sensationalism of witchcraft has kind of traveled into the sensationalism of other spiritualities, where people think, okay, well, since I can self-initiate as a witch, that means I can just dibble and dabble in other religions. Well, and that's just not how that works, baby. And I'm not saying that because I'm Haitian, I'm saying that because you might fucking die. You cannot just go around practicing Haitian shit. You have to be properly initiated. So when it comes to witchcraft in itself, you can initiate yourself. I personally do not think it is safe. Now, from the characteristics I gathered from research and other videos that I watched, a lot of what you have to do is research, but you have to find out what sources are actually legitimate, not just the sources that you really want to hear. You also have to be very, very mindful with your intentions, what it is that you want from voodoo, what it is that you're going to do with voodoo, because that's going to dictate the type of magic that you do, and it's going to dictate validity and the effectiveness of your spells. If you're in a horrible mood, if you're mad as shit, you sit here casting spells, I don't understand how you gonna catch yourself rainbows and butterflies if you're fuming with rage. Okay, you might fuck around and manifest the damn Tasmanian devil in real life. Like, I'm not joking. That's the crazy part. I'm not laughing. Do you see me laughing? No, I'm not laughing. And it's the same thing with voodoo that I talk about. Like, you have to have pure intentions as a person. And witchcraft is not just, you know, let me make a spell, let me go to sleep. Like, this is a lifestyle. It is something that you're going to be working at and learning about for your entire life. You don't just, oh, okay, I know everything, I'm a witch. That's not how that works. It is a work in progress. And it's really, really interesting because a lot of people don't know this. I have no idea what it is. They're like, oh, well, I don't know much, but I'm still a witch. And it's like, I understand it's all, you know, a learning thing, but you shouldn't be calling yourself something or giving yourself a title of something if you haven't fully learned yet. You understand what I'm talking about? Like, and that's why personally I feel like people have to be initiated, because if that was the case, everybody would be a fucking witch, especially if they were to sit here smudging sage and talking about what they want all damn day. It just doesn't really make any logical sense. So I feel like you should go to someone that is like a professional witch, someone that actually has like years, like I'm talking like over 20 years experience, to tell you what to do and how to do it, because there's so many con artists out here that's just out here taking people money, saying they witches, whatever the case may be, and it's like you can't just believe all of them. For example, Trisha Paytas, the troll of the internet, okay, queen troll at this point, literally came out telling them she's a witch. And now it's like, okay, so now are we supposed to just sit here and be like, okay, we accept you into the priest, well, are you guys now supposed to be like, okay, Trisha, we accept you into the witchhood? And what's crazy is a lot of the witches were very upset about this. They were angry because they were like, what the fuck, like, troll everything, this is not a joke, this is not a game, you're not a witch. And I'm like, well, you guys have made it, you know, there's a lot of you, not everyone, of course, there's a lot of you who have made it so that everyone can say they're a fucking witch. Now I understand completely why other religions and lifestyles are very secretive. They don't go around saying this, that, and the third, because now everyone thinks there's something that they're not. Even under my videos, people are like, oh, I felt this loi call to me, and it's like, no, you did not, because no loi is going to come to you unless you have some sort of tie to that loi, some way, shape, or form. If you are some white girl from Italy, do not think no damn Papa Legma, no Aiza, no fucking Urzuli Dontor came to talk to you, because more than likely they didn't, unless you got a Haitian boyfriend, a Haitian aunt. I don't fucking know. Like, it's just, it's ridiculous. Like, we need to stop making all of these things so inclusive, because it's very, very dangerous to do so. You can do a lot with Haitian voodoo that a lot of people don't necessarily think about. Same thing with witchcraft. There are so many different ways to practice. There's lots of people, like I said, who practice black versus white. You have ceremonial, ritualistic, you have spell casting, you have people who just work with mainly herbs and stuff, but then within that you have people that work with herbs and everything and literally objects in order to get things to be, you know, more powerful or to have like a better outcome for their spells, such as swords and chalices, crowns, certain types of stones and chains and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to use that stuff, but at the same time, it depends on what type of witch you are, what you're doing, the deities you serve, if you serve any, higher powers that you serve, if you serve any. That's another thing. A lot of people think that you have to believe in God or you don't believe in God. You can be in any religion and be a witch, okay? A lot of people use their legitimate religions that they have as a way to navigate their sorcery. So be very, very mindful that, like, it's not a one shoe fits all type of situation. Also, in order to be a witch, you also have to have the want, the need to understand, to learn. You have to have a very, very serious student mentality. If you think you're gonna just watch some damn TikToks and that's considered research, okay, not saying that there's not like valid witches that make TikToks, but like there's only so much you can learn from watching a few 60-second, 30-second types of videos. Like, you have to actually have that will to read probably thousands of books. Like, I'm not joking, because there's just so much information to retain. Even outside of your own type of sorcery that you choose to pick up, you have to learn the other sorceries as well. Not to, you know, front and back, but at the same time, you have to learn the ins and outs of other people's sorcery in order to be a really good, well-rounded witch that actually knows what the fuck they're doing. Because what happens is, what I've seen personally is I've seen a lot of people, they're a witch, but like they literally only stay in their realm and then they come come across a spell or come across someone else in another realm, and then all of a sudden they don't know shit, they clashing, now they don't know how to have a conversation. Listen, I've come across a lot of weird things, and that has to be one that I just don't understand. I'm like, if I was a witch or if I was anything like that, I would make sure I kind of like learn the bits and pieces of other people's religions and spiritual beliefs, because at that point it just doesn't make sense. Like, how am I going to communicate with you and do spells with you and have you in my coven or join your coven? Now that we got to the nitty gritty, I'm actually going to post some videos down below about, you know, people that have talked about their witch experience, but we're going to move on to why people think witchcraft is evil. Now, when it comes to witchcraft being evil, many people think that witchcraft is evil because, one, the main thing I said, a lot of people just like to demonize things they don't understand. It's just the fact that they've heard that witches are evil through their entire life. They've seen it on TV, the church has said it, their family said it, so they say it too. Another one has to do with black magic. There's a lot of witches that do use black magic in order to do bad things to people. So a lot of people see witches as dangerous. The fact that they can't do bad things, the fact that they can't do harm to you if they wanted to, is pretty scary for people. It's the same thing with Haitian voodoo. It's like, okay, I know you're probably not going to do anything to me, but I don't know. Understand, when it comes to this whole witchery thing and just beliefs that you don't understand, all of them have consequences for doing fuck shit to people, and all of them have the real risk of it bouncing right back onto them in terms of someone reversing a bad type of juju or whatever the case may be. A lot of people are not about to risk their life for your ass just because you took their pocket spot. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, you have to do something very monumentally bad most of the time to get a witch, to get an ogon, to get any type of person in that spiritual realm to do something bad to you, because they already know they're going to suffer for doing it. They're going to go through some bullshit for doing it. So it's like a lot of them are not going to waste that much time on you doing some fuck shit. Another reason a lot of people think that witchcraft is evil is because they're confusing many other beliefs. They think witchcraft is occult. They think witchcraft is black magic, when in actuality witchcraft is witchcraft. All of those things are completely different things. Witchcraft is a lifestyle, like I said before. They blame witchcraft for all their problems. There's a lot of people out there, I swear to God, they can't be normally sick, they can't normally have a bad day, they can't have anything normal happen to them as a normal human being, because if something bad happens to them, it is the devil. It's these witches. It's the spell. And it's like, boy, don't nobody got time to be wasting resources on your motherfucking ass, okay? Some people are just very superstitious, and they believe that all the witches that are walking this earth are the reason why the earth is a bad place. We have to expel the evil. We have to make sure they're clean. We have to make sure they come to God, or whatever type of, you know, person they're trying to make you convert to. And that cannot be furthest from the truth. It's absolutely ridiculously exhausting how many people think that's fucking accurate. But it's like, no, there's lots of Christians out there doing heinous things. Why don't you focus on the people in the back of the motherfucking church? Shit in the front of the church, shit the pastor, priest, the deacon, whatever. Why don't you focus on them? Okay, focus on the people you can actually do something about, not the people that are not bothering you. He said what he said. Now this video is actually getting a little long, so I think I'll do another video regarding the persecution of witches, because I think that's gonna be a very interesting one. So with that being said, make sure you guys comment down below. Did you like this video? Do you want another part? What do you know? What you know that I didn't know, that I didn't mention? If you are a witch, thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope I explained it good enough. I hope I didn't offend anyone. I just, you know, went by what I thought. And with that being said, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, follow my main channel, get your merchandise, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye.